Hi guys, this is Saintonge for Saintonge Fitness. So today's video will be about neutral spine. I guess you might have heard that before when you work out, somebody telling you, careful, keep a neutral spine, or you've read it, make sure you keep a neutral spine. So what is a neutral spine? So that's what I'm going to tell you right now. A neutral spine is the position that your spine has when you just have regularly standing up. So see my spine, I have a slightly arch in the lower back and I'm slightly rounded on the upper back between my scapulas, my shoulder blades. I mean, some people will have hyperlordosis or they have kyphotic position, but let's talk about people that get a somewhat regular curves in their back. So the neutral spine is you want to keep the regular curves in your back. Either you're lifting, I would go even for the deadlift, I would say, neutral spine. If you do push-up, neutral spine. So a good tool you can use for that is a broomstick. With a broomstick, you just put it, like I put it right beside my butt cheek, and I go rest my head on it. So I want it to touch at three points. I want my head to touch between my shoulder blade or scapulas and my butt. So, and there's a little gap here in my lower back. That gap, you want it like more or less, if you think about having 2 fingers, most of the people should be fine with 2 fingers. It all depends. We all are a bit different, but I would say 2 fingers is a good ballpark distance to keep. So you see, neutral spine, my head is touching between my shoulder blade, it's touching, and I have about 2 fingers gap between the broomstick and my lower back. So if I go and bend over, see, I'm keeping a neutral spine. If I arch too much, way too big of a gap, between my scapula is not touching. Often when we force, we have a forehead posture. See, my head is not touching the broomstick anymore. So now, I'll show you for the push-up position. You can see it in a good angle. So now I'll show you an example of neutral spine for the push-up position using the broomstick. So I won't be able to show you a real push-up. I don't know if you can see right here, but I got a surgery about 3 weeks ago. I tore my tendon in my bicep. Long story, I'll tell you some other time. So I'll just go on all 4 to show you the neutral spine position using the broomstick. So what you want to do, you just go like this and go in your lower back. You can grab it here or have somebody hold it for you, and that person can cue you. They can say, oh, careful, the shoulder blades are not between the shoulder blade, it's not touching. The head, you get a good feedback, you can feel it. The one that's hard to feel is the lower back. If you start going with hyperlordosis, anterior pelvic tilt, that means you're arching your back too much. That's not good. You'll be tapping in your psoas there and might create other problems. At the same time, you don't over round it. If I round too much, my upper back between my shoulder blades is not touching and my head is not touching. So to be safe, I would say use a broomstick, you see? Push-up position. So the 3 points are touching right now. Just my butt, just on the top of my butt cheeks, between my shoulder blade scapulas and my head. So that's the position you want to have. The neutral spine position you want to have when you do push-up. Because often people, when they do push-up, they will either like arch the lower back, that means tight psoas, over strong psoas, and poor abdominal strength, lower abdominal most likely, or they'll start reaching with the head when they do the push-up. I usually call that doing a pigeon push-up, like a pigeon walking, So a cue for the pigeon head, yes, the broomstick is good, but a cue for not doing that pigeon motion when you do push-up is instead of thinking about touching your nose to the floor, think about bringing your right between your pecs to the floor. You can even put like a tennis ball right there, and you want to go touch a tennis ball. all the time. So guys, that was for the neutral spine using the broomstick. I hope that helps. So always at first, if you can have somebody holding it for you, so you can use both of your hands and cueing you on which part is not touching. So let's remind you, 3 parts that needs to be touching: back of the head, between the shoulder blades, and the top of your butt, just on top of your butt crack. So I hope that video helped you. And remember now, when we say neutral spine, you know what that means. Bye guys.